Oh, 3 words for Steve. I think purpose, passion and drive.
Well, entrepreneurial is there. Caring for the people that she loves, and I guess just a friend.
Well, she's a very inspirational lady to all of us, I think. She was very ambitious. She was very giving. How many words? You could go on forever, couldn't you?
During the interview, and of course through the steering group, I realised that she'd had a child with autism, and very similar to the children that I was working with over the past 10 years. There was quite an interesting communication because of that. We had quite a strong partnership because of that. And I think that was because both of us had seen what probably was needed and how we could actually provide that service for people who were finding it difficult within their day-to-day schools, so day schools, and possibly needing a residential facility on a long-term basis. In the first year, she was very much involved in the school and had a uniform and would be present here, if not daily, most days.
I remember driving in to come and have a look round before we opened, and she and her husband Derek were doing some gardening.
She was just another member of staff, and she would wear the blue uniform, and she'd come in and she would help out and do whatever she felt that people wanted her to do.
I remember her joining in staff meetings, touring people round, always offering support, really pushing us, really wanting us to make a difference, really wanting us to understand young people, and also sort of offering things and thoughts from her point of view. So from her as a mum for Giles, who she'd recently lost, not sort of 18 months before we opened, but she was still offering thoughts about how we could support young people, how we could help them get into sleeping patterns, toileting patterns, good routines, and then start to educate and learn.
That was one major thing that I found really quite fascinating with her, that she really wanted to have something that was really good practice, if you like, the best you could find. She was incredibly passionate and really keen to actually bring forth something that she felt that Giles would really have liked to have been in.
She certainly helped parents, and still does, interestingly, even though, from the very early days, she would speak to parents when they would come round to view the school. She'd speak to them about her experiences, help them sort of take that step into saying, you're not failing as a parent if you're sending your child to a residential school, you're helping them, because this school will allow them to achieve, will help them to grow and develop, and you will be part of that.
She was also somebody who would be very keen to actually ask as many questions as possible and create a situation where you would find yourself working with her, alongside her, to actually bring about an approach that was the best approach. And it was really a partnership, not just for me but for other people as well.
But always in the back of that all was the message: we've got to deliver a great service. We've got to build something here that's super special for these children.
She insists on sitting so she can watch the children. She'll never have her back to the children. She sits there and she wants to, I'm sitting here, looks, watches who's doing what, always asking you what they're doing, or that person's new. Remember staff members' names who've been here for a long time. And I just think that's so very special.
I guess from a legal employment perspective, we're employed by the foundation. But I think everybody realises that a little bit of them is always working for Steve. It's her legacy, and you can't help but every time you see her, you're reinforced by, we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be doing this job without Steve here.
She was always an inspiration from the start in terms of every aspect of her life, as a businesswoman, as a Jewish person, as a war refugee, as a mother of somebody with autism. Phenomenal.
being a parent is where my connection to autism comes from. My late son Giles was severely affected by his autism, and his needs were complex. And many of my experiences with Giles are also experiences parents of young people with complex autism continue to go through today. Feelings of powerless with how you can support your child. The constant worry about what their futures will hold. And the despair when you realize that home may not be the best place for your oh so vulnerable child. We also share the fierce parental instinct to do what is the very best for your child. When my son was young, there were simply no appropriate services available to meet his needs. And the view of what was best for him and my family was cruelly lacking in empathy or knowledge. Essentially, place him in an institution and start my family anew. That was not good enough. Parental instinct to do the very best for your child drove me to found 3 charities: Autism at Kingwood, long-term care; Autistica, research; and Priors Court School. Priors Court is one of my proudest achievements. Hundreds of young people have been supported there to lead happier, healthier, more independent lives. And with them, hundreds of families have had their lives changed. Hearing stories from families about how Priors Court has transformed their world and their children's lives continues to fill my heart with joy. Priors Court is the school physically, intellectually and spiritually I would have wanted for my Gilesy.
She set that kind of bar, and that story really makes it feel more special, actually.
Autism is such a prevalent disorder or condition, but we are in danger sometimes of losing the focus on the young people we support, who are young people most challenged by their autism, and they have complex needs. And Steve's son Giles had those complex needs. So with the understanding and growth of autism in the neurotypical world, which is great, sometimes we're in danger of losing a spotlight on these young people who are so severely affected. And Steve still brings that spotlight to us. She still talks about her challenges with Giles. She still talks about Priors Court being the jewel in her crown, the place that she would have wanted to send her son to. And she still inspires parents to want better for their young people with severe autism.
In most jobs, you're doing a job, and it's maybe for a corporate or for another sort of slightly more faceless organisation, whereas this one definitely has a very personal, person at the heart of it who is still here with us.
We'll always want to know, yes, but what are you doing about that? What's happening next? What's your next project? Never stay still, always push forward, because it's important that we keep on driving forward with her legacy, which is to be the best place we can be for young people with severe and complex autism.